Oops. Hi, it says I'm live, so I guess I am. And I think I'm late, and I'm sorry. 10:04 my computer says, so I apologize. I was struggling, and then I had a business call, so struggling time-wise, which is stressful. This call is about how to de-stress. And there's some reasons we want to de-stress. I put this, and I can email this to you or message it or whatever. This is not a very good picture because I took it from a video I was watching, and I can't remember whose it was because I didn't put on there. Probably Dr. Sue or Karen Grant, one or the other. But I don't know if you can read that. But the effects of stress on our body. I mean, we really destroy our bodies with stressing out about a lot of stuff. And I stress over, like here, I felt stressed for a few minutes, but I don't live stressed 24/7, but I did for many years. But I've learned better. But it says on the brain, and I've had other uh, videos on YouTube where I've talked about how how to help yourself with your panic attacks. And in joy coaching, we have a lot of tools and a lot of things you can do. You don't even have to have a joy coaching session, but it really helps. We have so much available to help people. But anyway, the heart, of course, everybody would probably figure this: blood pressure and heart attack, lungs, strained breathing, and possible asthma attack. In other words, sometimes asthma is kind of psychosomatic. It's not that we're hypochondriacs, no, but we stress ourselves out so much that we all of a sudden we're having asthma attacks. Stomach pain, or even ulcers, pain or ulcers. Yeah, we could have ulcers. We could just even pain or indigestion or heartburn. Any of that is so uncomfortable. If we just learn how to de-stress, we may not have that problem. May not have to spend the money on the doctors. Just hard to say. And then the bones, um, you can have muscle and joint pains. And a lot of times, though, it's our diet. Like uh, sodas, whether they're sugar-free or not, doesn't matter. The acid in such sodas causes us pain. A lot of times, other things. Now, that has nothing to do with stress, but in a way, it does. Because if you're in pain, if you're having pain from something that you can eliminate, pain causes stress. I mean, I don't like pain. I don't think anybody does. If we do like pain, we're a little bit nuts. um, yeah, no one likes pain. And many times, just exercising and eating healthy, we can change a lot of things in our life, which would cause less stress. Because when we're sick, we feel stressed. When we have pain, we feel stressed. When we're having anxiety attacks, not only are we stressed while we're having it, we're stressed other times thinking about it. It just consumes our life. So there's just a lot of things we can do to help ourselves. And we really need to love ourselves enough to do these things. Let me see if there's. Oh, meditation we've mentioned before. Meditation is something that really, really, really helps. We start to meditate. There's a bunch of different methods we can use. Tai Chi is a form of meditation, yoga. I do Tai Chi more now. And I talk big. I don't do it every day or anything, but several times a week I do 10, 15 minutes of Tai Chi. And I think, why don't I do this more? Because it's so relaxing. It is a form of meditation. There's lots of ways to meditate. Just go sit outside. I have two outdoor rocking chairs. Of course, I only use one. And when I have a guest, they'll use the other. But a lot of times I just go out there and rock. I mean, that's fun. Go to a park and swing. Play. Learn how to play and relax. Do things that are fun and relaxing, not fun and stressful. Like maybe, I don't know what would be fun and stressful. If you're playing a game with points, say it's baseball or something, in a way it's relaxing. But if you get all crazy about I have to win. I have to get more home runs than anybody else. Then that's not stressful. If you can just do a game and relax and enjoy it, then it helps you de-stress. But it's all up here. What we just saying how you're feeling. I'm really disappointed. I really wanted us to go camping this weekend instead of screaming, yeah, 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 because you couldn't go. I'm really disappointed. You could even get a little stronger than that. I'm really disappointed. It was more stress and more anxiety. Um, at work, we can also, oh, of course, listening. I know I have to work on listening. And I really love people, and I really want to know what they have to say. But sometimes I'm thinking more of myself, and I'm, blah, 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 blah. So I really work on that, especially as if one of my friends said this a number of years ago when somebody criticized me for talking too much. And she said, Judy, we know you're a talker, but we do know that when we have a problem, you listen. And I do. If I can see somebody's hurting, I shut my big mouth for a while and listen. I might give some advice. I might try to help them in some way. I might meditate and pray with them. I might do a lot of things, but I do listen. Even if I don't agree with why they're upset. And I've had a friend just this week that in a dysfunctional relationship, but it still doesn't help for us. That's all there is to it. But in the meantime, why cause more problems by being mean and screaming and cussing or criticizing or anything? And I didn't know this when I was younger. I did all these things that I'm saying we shouldn't do, but I've learned a little better as I get older. And we can de-stress at work by my grandson does this. He takes a break. There's a lake there in Tempe. He works for State Farm, and on his break, he goes down and walks a little bit by the water. Now, that's just a few minutes, but he says it helps him tremendously. So, walking on break time is a good way to de stress. Then there's a thing so those are two things. Acceptance. I can't change another human being. I don't care if I'm married to somebody and they should pay the mortgage. If they're not paying it because they're gambling, there's nothing I can do to make them pay it. I can just have all the temper tantrums I want. They're still not going to pay it. So we have to accept he's not going to pay it. Or she. Sometimes it's the woman that makes more money and maybe she's not paying it. She got into her addiction. She spent it all on at the casino while she was drinking. I mean, a lot of things happen. We can't change what people do about these things. We just can't change it. So we have to find another way to get it paid. Either we pay it or we move to a smaller place or whatever. There could be 1,000 different things to do about that. We could sell the house, get a smaller house, whatever. There's just a lot of things. Move on with mom. I don't know. Something besides just arguing, which causes stress. Or even thinking about the dirty blankety blank didn't pay them, or all these. If a person's going to drink or drug or whatever, you cannot change them. They can change if they want to change, but they're not going to change because you're yelling and screaming at them. That just causes more stress. We need to change the things we can't, accept what we can't change. Forgiveness. That means forgiving ourselves also. Instead of dwelling on what we've done wrong and beating ourselves up about it all the time, we need to just forgive ourselves, and we need to forgive others. Because that's a lot of stress. And I lived in resentments in order to forgive. And boy, what a difference in my life. I'm ever, ever, ever grateful. I just shake my head and let go of it and say a positive affirmation. And that's one thing, just saying a positive affirmation over and over and over can help us de-stress. Feel, deal, and heal is something that I learned years ago. You can't pretend something doesn't happen. We're lying to ourselves. Lying to ourselves, hiding, covering up to ourselves or others doesn't help a situation. We need to be honest with ourselves. We don't want to complain about this particular thing. Feel what am I going through? Why is it bothering me? Feel it. Think about it a little, not forever, but long enough to realize really why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Then I need to deal with it. What can I do to deal with this? How can I help the situation? Deal, and then you'll have some healing. Feel, deal, and heal. And that's a real good one. And it works. So these little simple things work. They could actually change our lives. PTSD. I'll tell you, and there's so many things. We used to think PTSD just happened if you were beat up or if you were in war or something like that. But now they've proven, and we've talked about this here before too, they've proven that even in childhood, things can cause PTSD and we suffer forever because we're not really looking at what's wrong. And as we become adults, we have to recognize if we're going back in time over and over, adults are still playing it over. That's PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And then, I like this one, and I'm not very creative, trust me. But creativity. One way to reduce stress, if you like art or you like to write or you like maybe to change the house inside or out, it could be outside or inside where you're just kind of redecorating inside or putting in a few new plants outside. That's creative. Baking or cooking. I I hate to mention baking because we really shouldn't eat white flour, white sugar, but there's all kinds of wonderful ways to make delicious desserts that are healthy nowadays. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on the computer and in cookbooks and cooking classes and stuff like that. And in fact, we could take cooking classes if we want to be creative. See more what we can do. We can be creative by just setting a nice table. Every once in a while, when I had the kids at home, I'd put candles out. By the time I got down just to my last one, Mike and I, every now and then I'd put candles out. We didn't didn't make it fancy, but just a couple of candles just kind of lightened the mood and made us feel better. I don't know why, it just does. And that's creative because at the moment you're thinking about what can I do to help us feel joyful. And I think that's about it. Oh, the fourth thing I wanted to mention, accept real big, avoid the unacceptable. What might be unacceptable to me might be perfectly acceptable to you. You don't need to keep going around that person. Maybe it's the dirt in somebody's house. I'm not a priss-pot. I'm not perfectly clean, but I can't stand garbage and smell. If something's that bad, I don't want to be around it. And I won't go back business to other people's houses because a couple times I ran into some real filth where it was just garbage all over and smells. And I'd rather have people come here. It's not spotless, but it's presentable. It doesn't stink. My place smells good. I live there then, but I don't have to go there. I don't have to be. I was real stressed at this one place, and then I had to go to the bathroom. I'm telling you, it was horrible. That caused me a lot of stress. But you don't have to go around. These are the things we can do in our lives to help ourselves. We don't need to be stressed. We need to have less stress. We don't imagine that we're stressed. We don't imagine that we're sick. We are sick. We are stressed. But we do it to ourselves because we allow ourselves to go through things that we don't have to allow ourselves to go through. So take charge of your life, love